Welcome to Senior Strategies. I am your host, Amy Decker, Director of Client Services for Senior Helpers. We are so glad that you are able to join us today for lively conversations with guests that can offer you the tools, strategies, and support so that you can successfully stay on your journey as a caregiver. We hope that you enjoy yourself and find just what you needed to get you through today. Hi, welcome to Senior Strategies. I am Amy Decker, Director of Client Services with Senior Helpers. I am a certified dementia practitioner and the host of your show. I'm excited because we have a guest that we had at the very beginning that we started a relationship, I believe 2 years ago almost. We had them on already from Calgary, Canada, and it's Tim and Tanis Roberts, and they are going to be talking about Echobox Memory Vault. We're so happy to have you.
Hey, Amy.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having us.
Hello again.
Yeah. Well, that's what I thought. We started this little journey together. I think it was 2 years ago, because then we spoke for about a year. Then you came here and we did an interview on the beach. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's been almost 2 years ago. So much has changed from your initial interview that we want to hear what's new with Echobox Memory Vault, because there's just so many wonderful things about it, and things morph into other things, and you're tweaking it and the recipe's changing a little bit. So tell us what's new. First of all, tell us how it started. Now that I've asked you and interrupted you, tell us how you began, how you started this whole journey and dream.
Okay, yeah, It started with a YouTube clip that we saw of an elderly widower who had lost his wife's voice recording from the answering machine. And the clip that you see is the moment that the company gives him that voice clip back. And just seeing his emotion really got us thinking about, seniors and the ability to capture memories.
Yeah, initially we kind of just thought, where is technology kind of missing it right now? And of course, originally we thought it would be more of a family sort of thing, catch grandma and grandpa's favorite things about life and hold on to them and listen to their voice as time goes by. But we didn't realize, that inspiration from that gentleman's story. Well, first of all, it got us a local news story with our pilot model that went national. Then we got a BBC story across in the UK. And then all the caregivers from different fields started reaching out to us saying that, this could mean a lot in the worlds of speech therapy, dementia care, just senior care, in home care, assisted living, palliative care. Like it just went on. And so it was a little bewildering. And since we don't really have that strong of a background in caregiving or in technology, we're not really strong in business, it was a lot for us to kind of think about whether we're going to kind of run with it. But there was just so much encouragement, so much help from all over the world. Literally, we would just be talking to we just don't say no. And we just learned so much that our platform started to take shape more as a senior healthcare solution. We've started, the messaging has changed to things like we're streamlining communication, we're optimizing care, because just with being welcomed into this world, we've heard about some of these struggles and challenges on a day-to-day basis, and these heroic efforts that go on that are kind of uncelebrated, really tough situations that we didn't realize that with a platform that was capturing favorite songs and smells and stories would go a long way in person-centric care. So I think our journey has just been this incredible exposure to a phenomenal amount of amazing people.
Right.
And we're here because of them. So thank you, everybody who's listening and watching out there. And thank you, Amy, for letting us tell our story.
Absolutely. I have to say, back in, I don't even know when they started the days of recording movies, and people having family get-togethers, and they would bring their recorders and they would record and take pictures. And then as the years go by, those recordings are sent down to family members, and there's black and white pictures that are in photo albums. And going through that is so nostalgic and so emotional and so touching. And for some people, it's all they have left, really, of their family and their heritage and their lineage. So the fact that you're being proactive with, let's ask her what her favorite recipe is. Let's find out. Let's look at the Afghan that she just knitted. Let's talk more about the music that she loved. It's just enhancing all those movies and things that we did in the years gone by. It's enhancing it so that the memories are even stronger and they're more emotional. And it can be passed down to generations for people that maybe never knew grandma, but they heard about her. Well, now they can find out about her. Absolutely. So I think what you're doing is wonderful.
Oh, Thank you very much. And it's just this sort of encouragement that keeps, the wind in the sails for us. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So you had mentioned, it's not really your background as far as editing and recording. So tell me a little bit more about what each of your background is and how, because I think that makes it even more interesting. What's your background?
Yeah. I worked in the library system for about 22 years
Wow.
until Echobox pulled me in full time now. So I've been full time with Echobox for a year. But yeah, before that it was library work.
Right.
Just a general really I'm quite passionate about genealogy as well.
Yeah, and I was going to say libraries and books and novels and fiction and stories. That's another thing that just gets your heart entwined with memories and reading stories and seeing them. So that makes total sense that that would be something that you would steer in that direction, and that Echobox has pulled you in because you're really doing exactly what you've done for 22 years, but you're actually living it now yourself.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, I never looked at it that way, but yeah,
Yeah,
you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I myself, I love music and art. I've been in bands and sold some art, but I really, that doesn't always pay the bills.
right.
I was kind of in the general trades. I owned a commercial maintenance company
Mhm.
that serviced, different grocery stores around town here, and it was great. But it was just kind of soul-sucking work that I wanted
Yeah,
back into the sandbox and play my guitar and all that sort of stuff. And so at some point, just the worlds kind of came together. We saw that influential video, and we just had just enough time to tinker something together that rolled just far enough to get enough wind behind it that someone else helped it out and painted it
mm-hmm.
up and moved it to another place. And so it's been an accumulation of a lot of different things, but I think we've been both able to kind of attribute what we love about life and what we have spent so much time doing, and which has helped us a lot because we've been trying to do everything with Echobox. We've tried to save money here, there, left, right, in,
Right.
out, up, and down. And so we've applied that wherever we could. And I think right now, finally, we've kind of got to the point now where we're like, okay, well, we need a professional marketing company, and we'll
Right.
move the website over, and all these sorts of things. But yeah, it's been wild, and it's given us a greater sense of purpose. We
Absolutely.
wake up in the morning wondering who can we talk to today? How can we get this out to where it needs
Mm-hmm.
to be? And it feels great. It's a really cool journey.
And it is a cool journey because I love the fact that the both of you, with your compassion and love for music and love for art and love for books, and have fused your hearts together to create this beautiful app, and yet you're doing it together. So it's something that you get to do. It's a family affair, and you can't get better than that because you're doing it as a family, and you're helping other families to help their families and their families and their generations. So what you're doing is wonderful, and I think you can't really teach somebody empathy or compassion. You're born that way. You can try to teach them, but if it's not in their blood to do that, but you can tell when somebody's compassionate about something or empathetic about something, and you can tell with the both of you that that's really what your main goal is here, is to make it better for the senior, make it better for their caregiver, make it better for their families as time goes on. So I think it's wonderful. Tell us a little bit more in detail what it's all about and what you do with it.
Sure, sure. It's basically a technology that just captures the magic of storytelling and memories and our favorite things and comforts and preferences, and puts it all into a place where you can kind of capsulate it and reference it. And so, what caregivers saw in it was, this amazing tool. And so, the way we had to design it was, you'd go onto our website, you'll check us out and learn all about us. You can also sign up for the service on our website. There's a free sort of level that you join for free, and you can add a caregiver and a storyteller, and you have one free story to just kind of get a little feel for how it all works.
Nice. And
And
what's your
basically,
website?
thank you. Our website is echobox.ca. And yeah, so anybody interested, please go visit and give us a shout or give us an email.
Good.
We'll get right back to you. But yeah, the way it works is you sign up online, you check out the free zone, you see if it's kind of like something that you think would help with person-centric care or your loved one at home. And then you can sign up for a different subscription level. And the way it works is you would sign up, and if you were on a care team, you would invite your caregivers via email. So they would all be suddenly in that account with you. You can populate your account with your storytellers, which are your residents or clients or loved ones, whoever they might be.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, you'd use your subscription's worth of stories to just start capturing memories. And each story can be slotted into a topic. It can have a title, 1,000 words, links to online material like YouTube videos, if that's going to, describe a song or be
Mm-hmm.
able to let you play a song. You can take an audio recording, video recording, and 3 pictures. So just one story has this little world inside it.
Nice.
And what we're trying to do is, deliver this tool so it can actually help care teams that are out there devoted to person-centric care. They'll have all these little stories amongst the entire care team. So when it comes time for change time, shower time, meal time, bedtime, lots of times these can be not only an aggravation for the senior, but
Yes.
for the caregiver.
Yep.
It's just it contributes towards caregiver fatigue and burnout. And there's things like senior depression that if you start talking about the right thing or the right childhood toy or the right song or the right movie, the right conversation to get someone just
It
over
changes
that
the
hump and get the
mindset.
gears going
Yeah.
again.
Right.
We didn't know any of this, but
Yeah.
it's just by virtue of that memory sort of thing that we were trying to do, that legacy piece, that
Mhm.
we didn't see it from the other end. And so now we're kind of realizing, wow, this could be much bigger than even we thought when we were sitting there on the BBC sweating buckets. Like it can actually go out there and make a huge positive change. So
Yeah.
you're just humbled by the idea. Yeah.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
we've talked about 17 different topics, from ranging from food to past jobs to automobiles, anything that we could really think of that
Sure.
would really spark those memories. And when you do click on a topic, there's also kind of a nice little paragraph that kind of gives you some hints. If you're not sure how to engage
Right.
with someone, it kind of gives you
Mhm.
some helpful hints as to what you might want to bring up to bring those memories out.
And you're right. I have to say, sundowning is really a big, big, big issue with our clients and our patients that have memory impairment. Some can begin sundowning at lunchtime. Some don't start till 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Some start after dinner. But there's something that chemically goes on in their brain and changes. They can become combative. They're not going to eat. They don't want to take a shower. We've actually had clients call 911, call the police on her caregiver, because now she doesn't know who that person is. That person's been with her for 3 years and all day long, and now sundowning is kicked in and you're a stranger. I have no idea who you are. Call the police, get this person out of here. So to have something to change that mindset. Now, sometimes it's a chemical thing and they need, some sort of medication to fix it. But to have an app that you can pull up something that all of a sudden they see a dog that they loved, or hear a song that they loved, or hear a loved one that they haven't talked to forever, or it does something then to just kind of recharge the brain in a different direction. And I think it's a wonderful thing. So is this, you put this on your phone, the app goes on your phone. Is that how it works?
Yeah, you sign up for the service as an administrator online, but when
Uh-huh.
you invite your caregivers, they all get invitations to join the app.
On their
So
phone. Okay.
that's
Yeah.
how the system kind of
And that's where
works.
you collect all the stories is on your phone or your tablets.
So not only is the ability to capture a story right there at your fingertips, but also to reference all the stories that yourself and all your fellow caregivers have added to that gentleman or that lady's account.
Mhm.
It's accessible right there, right then.
Nice.
And we're just hoping that by virtue of the benefits that we kind of saw as more of a legacy, let's remember people better, it also can function in this magical way between care teams and residents, and also
Mhm.
afford families the reassurance that my mom or dad or both are in the care of a team that is right, that they are fastened to the idea of
Uh-huh.
person-centric care. They're passionate about quality of life, and
Right.
that will go a long way. We all you need to do is think
Mhm.
about your own parents or think about yourself in that
Mhm.
situation. Wouldn't you want to know that they or you are surrounded by the things you love, even if you can
Yeah.
no longer vocalize them? I mean,
Right.
technology seems to kind of dodge this somehow. And
Yeah.
if we're somehow the ones to take to fill up this gap,
I
then
love it.
somehow it's just happening. So
Yeah.
It
And the
all works out.
memories are just so strong. I have to say, I also am a volunteer for hospice. And what they do is once the person passes, they ask them to turn in like 2 or 3 of their favorite, whatever it is, a nightgown, a t-shirt, a dress that they wore all the time, an apron maybe that she wore, and they make teddy bears out of them. So it's a
Aw.
little teddy bear that's made out of all this little patchwork of the person's favorite clothing or apron. And then they put a little pocket in the front and stick their picture in it and give
oh,
that to the family. So they
Aw.
actually have women that sew for hospice, that they do that on a full time. They make teddy bears and they just get a picture and then they present it to the families as a, we're happy that we could be there for you. So that's the power of memory. That's the
I
power
mean,
of seeing a t-shirt, hearing about a recipe, seeing a picture of that person. It can move mountains when it comes to people, and it helps, I'm sure, with the grieving process too. They've got something to grieve with. And everybody grieves differently. Some may not want to have to look at that. Some may, their whole life might be that they have to look at that.
for sure. Yeah, one of the first groups that used Echobox was just down the street, our friends, and they actually used it. Grandmother had passed, and they used it sort of posthumously and put a whole bunch of stories and memories together, even though she had already passed. So we had never even thought
Yeah, the
that was
use of that.
possible, and that was fresh
Yeah,
out of the box. So this thing has arms and legs, and
right,
it wants to shake hands. We want to shake hands. If anyone's
right,
out there,
Right.
partnerships, affiliations, we're growing, we're getting up there, but we need help. We're not afraid to ask for it.
right.
And every step of the way, every stage of the way, people have been excellent stewards, offering us insight and
Mhm.
advice.
Yeah,
Um,
more than generous, really. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And we talked about this before we started the show too, that, if there's anybody out there that has ideas, has little tidbits of something that you want to share, or maybe you've got some questions for Tim and Tanis, you can certainly go on the Facebook page. You can go on our Instagram page and just leave your comments. I'll make sure that Tim and Tanis get them, because this is something that it takes a village when you put something like this together. And again, it's like a recipe. You might start out with the recipe, and then 5 years down the road, four different people added something different to it. Now it's the best recipe ever. So really that's what
Right.
this is all about, is we want everybody's ingredients to find out what is going to be the perfect match for the perfect person. And it might be different for somebody else. But
I think that's a perfect metaphor. We have only found strength in the idea of not wrapping our arms around the bowl and saying, "This is our recipe. It's the best
right,
pizza you've ever, like this is going to be great for you." We've just listened to everybody, whether it's a worker bee down in the trenches, 9 to 5, frustrated with the realities of things, or
mm-hmm.
somebody up in the office that's just like, their hands are tied because budget restraints, or because, they see the promise, but they just can't quite sign up, or that sort of thing. They want it to be there. And so we just keep on knocking on doors. We try every
Mhm.
key and every lock, and we just welcome every conversation we possibly can.
Great, great. And I love it because you've got a nice round table of people all over the world that are helping. You keep in touch with everybody. All of us, you just kind of keep us in the loop. I feel honored that I'm part of that little group, that you keep me informed on what's going on. And of course, anything I can do on my behalf too. There's so many out there that, again, we've got listeners in the UK and Canada and all of Florida and parts of the US. And so anybody that's got ideas can certainly leave us those ideas so that I can make sure that you get them as well. What's your next step?
Well, we're engaging with the local communities here. We're actually going into places and shaking hands face to face. We're offering some free trials. Those are also things that we're offering to people that we meet through podcasts and just relationships. So we're at the stage now where there's a few months before we really tip into a marketing campaign and kind of work with a little bit of strategy, because even though it's been a super long trip, we haven't even tried marketing besides like social media. So it's
Mm-hmm.
going to be a pretty cool year. And yeah, again, I can't emphasize enough. If anybody is just thinking about whether they should reach out and contact us, please do. We just don't bite,
Right.
and we welcome every conversation.
Yeah, and we're forming partnerships and sponsorships right now. We actually have a brand ambassador. It's Lance A. Slatton with All Home Care Matters. He's a real gem. We really love working with him. And we've created a partnership with the CTRA here in Canada. That's the Canadian Therapeutic Recreation Association.
Wow.
So that's a big deal for us. So yeah, just reaching out to everybody. We just love networking. We love meeting people, and that's what keeps us going. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've got some big wigs supporting you. So I think that says it all too. You've got a lot of people that a lot of people know that are supporting this and hoping to just carry you through it to make this a success. So that in itself shows that it's something worth looking at and helping out with.
Absolutely. And we have so many people to thank, yourself included, for hooking us up with some of these big wigs, and they know who they are. But and everybody has just been an absolute star for us. And so
Great.
if we make it and we kind of, find our place in the greater healthcare world, then we're going to bring everybody with us. Everyone will know, and we'll just continue to celebrate the village that you mentioned that's helped us
Mm-hmm.
get where we are.
Yeah, great. Well, I'm just so happy to have you on the program again. I love where you've come from when we had our initial show. I think actually you were here was it last June? Were you on the
I
show
think it
last
might have
June?
been,
Was it in March?
Was it
it might
March?
have been, oh
Yeah,
no,
no.
May? It was May.
It was
It was
May.
May. Okay, that was
It was
it. It was
May.
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 We got it. We got it.
Yeah, so it was fun to be able to go to the beach and get to see you face to face, knowing that you're in Calgary. I figured I'd never get that opportunity. So this is perfect. We're going to have you on again. We're going to check with you again in a few months. But like I said, in the meantime, if anyone has anything that they'd like to share, any questions that they have, feel free to reach out to us. Tim and Tanis would love it. And again, we applaud you for what you do, and onward and upward.
Thank you so much, Amy.
Thank you. Thank you for watching our show. We hope that you found an answer to a question or a resource that can assist you. Our goal is to keep all of you that are caregivers informed, refreshed, and heard. We're here for you. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us with any questions. We have all the resources that you'll need. Please follow us on our Facebook and Instagram pages for the up-and-coming shows and events and support groups. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for your support.